get to really talking real, you start finding out that a lot of us like corny shit.
I
think the soul is like a collective of like all beings.
Essentially, we're a part of this society where we believe that artificial intelligence is going to take over all life on this planet.
Scooby, have you ever heard of Anchor? It's the easiest way to make a podcast.
No, I haven't. Is it free?
Yeah, and there's creation tools that allow you to edit on your phone or computer.
But will it allow you to distribute to all your favorite platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts?
Yeah, it does it for you, and you can make money with minimum listenership.
So you're telling me it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one app?
Yes, it is.
So if you haven't already, go to the Anchor app or anchor.fm to get started.
What he said.
All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Bridging the Gap with Bill Perry and ScoobyDaKid with moderator Chef Matt. And yeah, man, we're trying an experiment here. We're doing this via Skype, and so we can keep up, keep you guys and stuff entertained out there and keep our podcast consistent. And now I'm going to turn it over to Scoob to let y'all know the other business.
Yeah, so we got social media at Bridging the Gap with Bill and Scoob. Y'all need to go and follow that. If you want to follow Bill on social media, it's at Bill Perry, right? And then
that's
me
right.
On social media, that's at ScoobyDaKid252. And we got a special guest on the phone tonight, and her name Holley Peel, and I'm gonna let her say her social media and introduce herself real fast.
What's up, y'all? My name's Holley Peel. I'm so excited to be on Bridging the Gap with Bill Perry and ScoobyDaKid. You can find me on Facebook, the usual Holley Peel. Holley Peel Music is my music page. I'm Holly.Peel on Instagram, and I'm excited to be on Bridging the Gap. What's up, guys?
Shoot, not much, baby girl. What's up with you?
Straight chilling.
No doubt. How
trying
you?
not to be
What?
too bored on this quarantine.
I was just about to say, and to hold up to. I remember Chef Mac was talking about us having a disclaimer. I guess I'll kind of throw that out there now. Everybody make sure, to thoroughly wash your hands, keep yourself sanitized, keep yourself indoors in quarantine until, further notice. Let's all abide by this protocol. Okay, there it is.
Thanks.
And with all that said, you're not going stir crazy over there, are you, Holly?
I'm trying not to. Look, I've been bored as fuck. I've been trying to watch a bunch of videos, trying to get informed. I was watching this weird video on the AIS channel the other day. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, yes, AIS. Yes, yeah. I follow it too.
Yeah, I ain't hip yet. What y'all see? What is the AIS website?
Artificial Intelligence Society. I'm under the impression for sure that artificial intelligence is going to end the fucking humankind.
Wait a minute, Holly, you're a member too? I mean, I'm a member of AIS. That's the only other secret society that I'm a member of.
I haven't become a member yet, but I'm going to. I'm freaking out about this shit.
Hey, look, this is a good time to join that organization. Hey, Scooby, if you're curious, man, look, the whole theory is that essentially we're a part of this society where we believe that artificial intelligence is going to take over all life on this planet, and we're essentially more or less preparing ourselves to be subservient to that, I guess. In short, microchips put in us, and but they're going to take over, Scoob. I mean, I'll let Holly tell you about it. You know what I'm saying?
So okay, I need more information because my mind is just blown right now.
I mean, think about it. They're going to end up replacing police, nurses, teachers, doctors, maids, cars. Think about everything they're replacing with artificial intelligence. Eventually, it's going to get to the point where they're going to have consciousness, and they're going to be thinking for themselves. And
is Elon Musk a member? He's got to be with the car.
Gotta be.
Well, I'm going to say this, just being on the other side of this now, there are a lot of high-end people involved in this organization. It's kind of like Scientology where you got all those celebrities and stuff.
Right.
There are some celebrities that are members. Once I became a member and it was, revealed to me who was involved, it was really shocking to know all the various people and stuff, celebrities, politicians, all these different people that are also preparing themselves for this artificial intelligence takeover.
Man, I thought it was crazy. I was on YouTube the other day, and I was just, looking up conspiracies about Tupac and stuff like that, and I came across this one that said Tupac was a robot. And I was just blown away. Is there any like AIS to that? You know, it's like
I don't know about. I don't know if Tupac was a member or not. You know, what do you think, Holly? I mean, do you know anything about that?
I don't, but you know, I think about all these holograms that they do at concerts of people. I think they did one of Tupac. As a matter of fact, you know, I mean, think about that. Like, they even have circuses now where they're doing holograms of animals. Like, it's pretty crazy. Like, I try not to get too deep into conspiracy theories, but this is something that really kind of just like, you know, takes a toll on me.
Oh no, crazy. It is. It's you know,
it's not. The thing about it is it's not a conspiracy theory. Like, it's an actual society. People are actually like joining.
It's already happening. It is already happening. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys. This is why I became a member a while back and everything. You know, when I started getting hip to the information, I didn't really tell anybody else about it. But it's the only other secret society that I belong to besides this music fraternity I'm in and Phi Mu Alpha. But like this particular situation, and you also get to certain levels too. The more information they give you, you know, or rather the higher levels rather that you go up, they give you more information about it. And artificial intelligence is already here, and it's going to take over.
It really is, and they have to do it at a subtle pace, because if they did it all at once, then we would all freak out so bad. Like, they're trying to like get it to where it's gonna just be complete and total takeover, and like, I don't know, it's gonna be pretty intense.
Shit,
I mean, look at how people are acting about toilet paper. What's that, Scoob?
How do you get down?
Well, okay, so the thing is like, this is a secret society, so you know it's the only society that I know of that you can't get the information online. Like, if you want to be a member, you would have to talk to me or those that, you know, let it be known that they're members. And there's a certain thing that I have to say to you before I allow you to be a member. And I think Holly is hip to this particular thing.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, man, it's some real shit, man. And like, you know, again, if you observe what's going on right now, the people that are already in play with this, they're watching all this shit play out with the you know, people acting all crazy about toilet paper. And they're like, they see us getting real vulnerable in this society, and they know that artificial intelligence and shit is going to be the, you know, the best way to preserve human thought.
Yeah, we all on Facebook.
Look, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say we all on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone's on the internet right now. This shit's crazy.
And Bill, don't be mad at me, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell everybody the one secret passcode.
Whoa!
I'm ready to hear.
You got to consider people are watching, Holly.
I know, but I'm ready to tell everybody. Everybody needs to know.
Okay, go. Let me see what you're gonna say.
April Fools!
Nice, magnificent. April Fools, everybody. No, there ain't no freaking AIS out there, man. We tripping. I don't belong to no other secret society like that. I only belong to one secret society, and that's Phi Mu Alpha. There it is.
Yeah. But it is kind of crazy though. Like you were saying, Holly, about how like cars and like all these different professions could be like eventually replaced by like AIS, you know, or artificial intelligence though, like self-driving cars and things of that nature. And I had watched this video on it, and like throughout the whole video, I was like getting kind of nervous, you know, because it was talking about how like even musicians, like they got robots that make music now, you know what I'm saying? Like original pieces, and I was like, what the fuck? But then like at the end of the video, they were like, you know, we us as a society kind of do need to change and start looking at things in, okay, like the jobs of yesterday might not be the jobs of tomorrow, so we need to make the jobs of today figuring out what they are.
Yeah, automation is definitely you know, and even beyond automation with all the cyberspace stuff going on right now and everything, man. I mean, yeah, you're right, Scoob. There's, you know, like, for example, like bulk work, you know, going back, you know, with cars, there was a time when, you know, there was human beings that were in the assembly lines, but now there's machines putting them damn things together, you know, and a lot of jobs of the future and stuff is going to probably require either tech knowledge or maybe actual artificial intelligence. But, you know, to get to your thing about that music thing, though, the only thing about that is if we ever wake up one day and they actually start composing, you know, it's one thing to be able to play a piece, but if a damn robot wakes up one day and he done composed some fucking symphony, okay, AI will be here, baby.
Yeah, that's an insane thought, you know what I'm saying? For like, because because to me, music is all feeling. I know, like, on the back end of it, you can, like, I'm sure y'all know more, can, like, read it and things of that nature. But, like, for a robot to be able to feel, that's insane. You know what I'm saying?
Have
like,
y'all seen some of the robots that they're making today? Like that one, I can't think of the name of the girl, but it's a female robot. And she is so realistic. Y'all, what's her name?
I forget her name, but yeah, she made that remark about, like, they asked her a question something about humankind, and she said something that was kind of disturbing, and they had this weird smile after it.
Yes.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. Like, she's bald and shit. She doesn't have any hair. But yeah, I mean, she looks like a human for all intents and purposes. Sophia, right?
Wow.
Yeah, man. But they asked her some kind of question about something about, like, do you feel like you will have to replace humans one day or something to that effect? And she said something kind of morbid. You can look it up online. And it wasn't like, humans must die type shit, but it was something kind of like, sketchy, like, well, if we need to take over, then we will.
Damn.
It sounds like she had her own train of thought.
I'll look it up real quick. I'm on my computer. I'll flip the screen around so we can see it.
And see, the thing is, I mean, when it all comes down to it, our thought process is all based upon electrical impulses with chemical reactions.
Yeah, thanks.
If you put those same components in something else, that's where thought comes from. It comes from the electrical impulses and the chemical reactions therein. And if you pretty much think about it, it's like, well, okay, if I create some, wires and freaking put some, I don't know, some organic shit up in there for it to react to, and then that thing gets consciousness, I mean, with that, and see, that's another thing. Would you say
at what level of knowledge? At what level?
Go
ahead.
No, I was just saying, I was just kind of saying, like, it's a question about the soul at that point too.
Right.
Because consciousness is what makes us aware of the fact that we believe we have a soul.
And at what point does, like, an amount of knowledge become consciousness? I know consciousness is not necessarily, does not equal knowledge, but think about all of the knowledge that they pour into this, like Sophia or a robot of some sort. At what point does, like, your amount of information become a free thought, if that makes sense?
It does.
In the show Westworld, which is basically what these robots that are like artificial intelligence, and in the show they describe it as when they realize that the thoughts in their mind are like it's them, So it's like
right.
What happened to Bill?
That they are them. They realize they are them.
Yeah, and
right.
That's so interesting because you're kind of the whole series trying to figure out why they would force them to forget these memories, and that was like a huge important part of it that I think is involved in consciousness, is like the being able to recall something,
Right.
So like if you woke up every day and it felt like a brand new day and you only had what you were told to recall, then you necessarily weren't conscious. But once you had like memory, you were able to make choices now because you could learn from past mistakes.
Right.
Exactly. And see, the thing is that where consciousness begins, or is that just a process? You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you can process that doesn't necessarily, because I mean, for example, look at insects. They communicate with each other. They have a culture going on, and all these hot. Hold on.
Yeah, you gotta step outside, bro.
Yeah, I was just about to do that. How about now?
Yeah, better.
Okay. I don't know how much battery life I got here. I'm hoping I can last. But no, I was just. Did you guys hear my last part on that?
Something about bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying, like, with insects and stuff, they're organized. They got culture. They are, for all intents and purposes, they have a organization going on and patterns. Ants been doing what they've been doing before the dinosaur.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, do we consider them having consciousness like ourselves? Like, would they be aware that they, think they have a soul within themselves and all these kind of things? Are they aware of things around them?
Think about a dog. Don't you know a dog has a soul? My goodness.
Yeah, I would
doubt.
say an ant does. Like, I don't even like to kill bugs and shit. My girl, she be making me kill spiders, and I don't even be liking to do that shit.
Well, okay, consider this. What is the soul to you?
I think the soul is like a collective of like all being. It's like I think we have like a piece of the soul. Soul in ascension is God, and that's the piece of God with you. I think you can lose that in yourself by, maybe making wrong choices and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's ever like it could like die in you. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a part of you.
You know what I think also the soul is from like a scientific perspective?
What's that?
Your DNA.
Yeah, facts.
Ooh, very good
I
point,
mean,
Holly.
that's the deep down you.
That makes sense.
See, this is the irony, between like the whole discord between science and spirituality, and them kind of looking at themselves as separate entities, but it's like actually they're both pulling towards the same direction.
Yeah,
because like, spirituality is saying that we are connected to something beyond our understanding, beyond the physical. And then science, like you just said, I mean, we're made of DNA, but hell, none of us can look at our DNA right now. You know what I'm saying? But we're made up of that. At the root of us, that's who we are, is our DNA.
Down to every little detail.
Every little detail. The reason why you look the way you do and the way I look the way I do, and guess what? There's only a 2% difference that separates us between the chimpanzee.
Right.
Damn,
and you know what? From a spiritual standpoint, I am a Christian, but I believe in a much deeper meaning of what that is, I guess. I don't believe in religion. I believe in Christianity. I believe in Jesus. But I don't know, from a deeper standpoint on a spiritual level, like your soul is, I mean, when you think about your DNA, that to me is spiritual. That is, what's the word? Supernatural to me. DNA is supernatural to me. I feel like it comes from a place that, just like how we have silver in our tears, we are made of stardust. Our DNA comes from that outer realm of the universe, and that's pretty incredible to me. That's supernatural to me.
And thank you for that Carl Sagan quote. We are made of stardust, baby.
That's right.
Indeed. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, that's true. I mean, that's one of the truest statements ever said.
Who is Carl Sagan?
Like what? There's iron in us. There's zinc. There's blah blah blah. A lot of the elements that we find, in Earth is within us.
Iron.
And within the cosmos, man. You ever see those like pictures online where they'll have like an image of something in space, and then they'll liken it to the human body, like, a swirl in space, how it looks like, the eyeball or like our fingerprint.
The Fibonacci sequence. I don't think I'm saying it right, but the Fibonacci sequence.
Yeah, the swirl.
Yeah. The swirl.
It's everything. It's everything.
They call it sacred math. Sacred math. Sacred geometry.
I think it's also known as the golden ratio.
Yeah.
I heard a bar the other day. It said he's rapping in lyrical Fibonacci sequences, and I thought that shit was crazy. I didn't know what the Fibonacci sequence was.
The swirls, baby. From your finger, like look, we got it in our fingerprint, and then you look up in the cosmos. There's a fucking big galaxy with the same deal.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And you know what would be even funnier? If we stepped outside of the known universe and found out that our known universe was a swirl.
There it is.
There's the golden ratio.
Yep.
34, 21, 13.
Oh, yeah. I just mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice one, Hunter. Nice one. Good call on bringing up the visuals.
Yeah.
I like being able to do that. That's a unique thing about this podcast, you know what I'm saying, that we haven't had in the other one. So,
Bro, I think we're breaking ground right now. Yeah. I promise you, man, all these podcasts I've seen, I have not seen a podcast that was pre-recorded or done live as a Skype or FaceTime or anything like that where it would be multiple windows like this. I think some people are about to copy our style, y'all. I'm going to say it right now on this podcast episode. And Holly's the first guest on an episode that featured motherfuckers on a goddamn Skype. What?
Man, shit.
But to kind of get back just a little bit, but I don't want to expand on it too much more because I want to kind of start getting into Holly's music stuff as well. But on the last little note on this, because this is some cool shit, man. We went from that AI shit to getting into some deep spiritual shit.
Yeah.
But I wanted to actually ask Holly this since she's our guest and everything. Holly, you said you believe in God, right?
Absolutely.
So do you believe in it, in God from the traditional standpoint? Like, you think it's a being that occupies some place in the cosmos, or do you think like in any other way?
I believe God is what the Bible said God is, and God is love. I think that God is just that very thing that we cannot see or put our hands on, but we know it's there, just like air.
Yeah. Ooh. That makes sense.
Ooh, that was beautiful.
Yeah. Real talk. I like
That's
that.
what God is for me.
Yeah, because I mean, look, we breathing that stuff in right now. We can't see it, but we
Right.
depend on it.
We can feel it. We can
And
feel
we can
it.
We feel it with every breath we take.
Yeah. Damn.
Well, we gonna end it right there, man. We can't top that one. Holly, she went down to the deep part of the ocean with that shit. We gonna let it just ride right there. But hey, so Holly, now to kind of change pace now, let's get into your music stuff, man. Let people know about you a little bit, and then we'll kind of just get into some Q&A or whatever.
Okay. What'd you say? You want me to talk?
Well, just kind of let people know what you're into, what style of music you do, whatever have you.
So I'm a keyboard player and a singer, and I write a lot of my own music. I've actually been performing for about 10 plus years, performing live all over the state. But here lately, I've recently kind of started getting a big girl job, and I've been working on recording and doing that myself and producing and recording a lot at home. And that's actually expanded my style of writing and expanded my writing skill, and it's been a lot of fun. So that's what I'm into these days, is recording.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. I think it's awesome to be able to record yourself. It's like really a free thing, that like I'm glad that you're hip to, like after being like on the touring circuit, getting into that like place and like being able to speak from there. That's cool. I'm interested to hear some of the music when it comes out.
Yeah, I'll have to send y'all some stuff. I've sent Bill a couple things. We send each other stuff back and forth.
Man, that new stuff you sent me, Holly, that stuff is sweet.
Thank you.
I love it, man. You got, I've noticed that with your production. It seems like with you helming the production, your sound is more modern than the people you've worked with in the past, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
Like your sound is like right on point with that. I'm not trying to say that your sound was dated or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I can hear this, like the production value of it. It's like, I could tell that like, oh, okay, like this is how she would express her music as opposed to somebody else producing it. Hey, but look, y'all, let me fall back up in here. I just noticed my battery light was getting low.
All right.
Go ahead. Hey, check this out. Let the people know who influenced you and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, my dad, number one. My dad was a musician. He played organ and bass and guitar. He was just really badass, and he kind of got me started. But some of my influences, number one would have to be Bob Marley. My style might not necessarily be influenced by him, but he is a person, and his music, his sound, everything. I just love Bob Marley, so he's my number one. Susan Tedeschi.
That's a good one.
Grace Potter. But I also like a lot of stuff like Alt J, and I don't know what else have I been listening to lately. Ritual Talk.
That sounds good.
Yeah, they're really good. I don't know. I like a lot of stuff. Bon Iver. I love Justin Vernon. I think he's brilliant. I don't know.
Now, when you're writing music yourself, now being a musician, I know this is going to be kind of a loaded question or a layered question, but to some end, could you kind of give us some insight to your process? Like, what does it take to get you to sit down and write a song?
As of late, what I like to do is, and I don't have anything like Logic or anything like that, but I like GarageBand, and that's just what is easy.
No, I get down with it too.
To me.
Yeah.
But so I'll write a melody first, and then I'll listen to that melody over and over until I kind of see what I feel, and I just start singing along with whatever the melody feels like. And then I'll even record myself singing along to a melody, just making up words, and then I'll write down what stood out to me from that, and then go off that.
Nice.
Have you tried like I know this is something I've recently got into recording with like I do mostly rap, but like layering it out, making it like 5 minutes long, and just like doing a take on your microphone, and then like just like copying and pasting and piecing those pieces together. I tend to forget a lot, and that's helped me like remember things that I'm like, oh, I said that, but when I said it, I didn't think that was hard. But when I play it back, I'm like, oh, that's what I was doing.
Word.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I use voice notes a lot too.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of snippets. And as a matter of fact, when we hang up, I'll probably go through some of my snippets tonight and see what's worth keeping, what's not. But my style is ever changing, and which is kind of strange because it happened after I feel like my career peaked, and that kind of sucks. But, I'm still comfortable with where I am in my career, and I have hope for the future, and I can't wait to get out there with my new stuff in a new way once this coronavirus is over.
Yeah, I think that's
Hey,
like a
first of all, hey, can I say something real quick to Holly there? Y'all excuse me looking all weird here. I keep trying to find different spots in my house to keep my damn charger going, man.
all good, bro.
But no, hey, baby girl, you ain't peaked yet.
You don't
just
think
getting
so?
started. You just, no, hell no. Because that stuff that I just heard that you've been sending me recently, that's a whole nother side of you, Holly, that nobody don't even know about yet.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? And when that stuff get out there, hey, hey, shoot, take it from the old school guy over here, man. You ain't peaked yet, baby girl. Shit, I don't even feel like that peak. You know what I'm saying? You know when you peak? When you leave this planet. That's when you.
That's true.
Hell yeah. But I just had to say that because I love your music, baby girl.
I'm trying to tell myself also that like I need to quit limiting things in my mind, because we have in our minds what success means or to us, or what achieving success means, or what peaking means. We all have that idea in our mind for us individually what that is. And
very true.
we set expectations for ourselves, and then when we fail or don't meet those expectations, we end up thinking that we failed ultimately, or we ruined all our chances. But the truth is, the opportunities are endless, and I need to remind myself of that. So thank you, Bill.
Yeah, I think we just lost Bill. Hopefully he'll join back in a second. We could just keep talking though until he joins back in. But yeah, like I'm a firm believer in that too. Like I always tell like artists that I mess with that like I feel like every artist is never judged off a single piece of work. It's like a collective of their whole entire life. If you're an artist, your life is your artwork,
Right.
Now what you do in that is just other like pieces and whatnot, So like, yeah, like I agree with Bill's sentiment. Like you don't peak till you die. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there we go. All right.
Indeed.
Take like actual artists, for example, Vincent Van Gogh. He died, and then that's when he became famous.
Right.
True.
Very true. Very true, Chef Mac. And it's like, you said some earlier, Holly, that I don't know if y'all noticed, but I actually lost y'all for a second. My damn phone died, and I just plugged it back up. But y'all was still in the same spot, so I'm just picking back up where y'all left off there. But yeah, Holly, man, like you're right. We all have this idea. I've told Scooby and shared some stories with him where there was times in my career where I felt really apprehensive about putting certain material out there because I felt like, maybe it was past that time or I wouldn't fit in and blah, blah, blah. And, but, I'm just now, what I just said right now to you, I'm just now really learning that. Like, I have plenty of time because I'm not dead. And, but, I had to get over all these hinks about, when I was younger, I imagined myself being at a certain place by the time I was this age, and I'm not at that place. I'm not sitting here in a big ass mansion, millions of people don't know my name, and it's just like, but I'm good. I'm so, like what I've been surprising myself about here in the future, from my past life, when I was younger, is that here I sit, from that guy thinking all those things, and I'm content with that, like I'm not tripping, I'm not bitter, or anything like that. When I see other people that are, I'm at an age now where there are people like Soulja Boy, who was born when I was in high school, and he achieved success, you know what I'm saying, already. Like he was born way the fuck after me, and he's already famous. I mean, think about anybody that's younger than us that's famous.
We can see, like, I'll say that I'll put all these videos out and, like, try to get my name out there, and then a monkey can stick his finger in his butthole and get 1 million views.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then, like, with the internet and shit, right? Like, I was telling Scooby the other day, there's other aspects to it now, too, because, when all of us posting all of our talents, you start realizing, like, God damn, I really got to have some shit to stand out. You'll fuck around and look at, I've seen videos of motherfucking 10-year-olds that would kick my ass on the piano.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers, goddamn it, playing some shit. And I'm like, what the living fuck? I've been playing all my life. And this little 10-year-old shit up here, goddamn it, what the fuck? But then what I end up doing is I pull myself back from that, and I start realizing, like, well, he's a talented kid. That's a talented child. That doesn't mean that what I have is any less, as it were. Like, I can still offer what I got to offer, not get caught up in any motherfucker that I think got better chops than me or whatever, and just do me. And then I end up finding out that in doing that, motherfuckers end up putting me on their top 10 list.
Yeah.
The thing also is comparison is a thief.
Facts.
Ooh.
Real though.
I'm quoting you on that shit on Facebook, goddammit.
Yes. Comparison is a thief. You cannot compare yourself, your talent, your skill, your success, anything to somebody else. Everybody's story is individual.
I watched this movie last night called The Fighting Family. It's about the WWE, and that was essentially the story behind that whole movie. Is like, you know, you can't, like, if you're gonna be a wrestler, you gotta tell your own story, you know, and like
you gotta be true to yourself.
I cried in that. Yeah, like it was an emotional movie because it was based off a true story, and just like it's crazy how that could have like ended her whole career if she would have just like let other people's thoughts and actions and feelings about her, you know what I'm saying, or her like wanting to be like somebody take that away, you know.
Right.
What is it? Be the first-rate version of yourself, not a second-rate version of somebody else, or something like that.
Ooh, yes.
That's real though. That's real.
Yeah.
That's real as hell. And you know, the thing is, you know, as artists and stuff, you know, we're all like an amalgamation of all of the things that have influenced us. And then, you know, you spend a good part of your journey, you know, like trying to discover what you feel is your voice. But then there's that other part of it that you're not as prepared for, at least, you know, a lot of us are not told this, is like being content with your voice in the midst of all the other great talent in the world. You know, and being like, am I doing anything that will, you know, when you get past those fucking doubtful, apprehensive questions, which, you know, come here and there, you know, it's like, I don't think there's a period where it necessarily stops. You just get more confident and more, I don't know, just, you know, you stick your chest out more, the better you get at your craft.
Comfortable with yourself.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for, more comfortable.
A couple years ago, I recorded with Jimbo Mathis, and that was one of the most awesome experiences I've ever had. And he said something that I will never forget. When I was getting prepared to record my songs, I said, okay, Jimbo, should I do it kind of like Susan Tedeschi, or should I make this song sound more like Grace Potter? And he said, neither. You need to make them sound like Holley Peel.
Word.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's not like, you don't need to ever try to be somebody else or be like somebody else. Sure, be influenced by somebody, but be you. Be you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a hard road to take for a lot of people, because some people define themselves by what influenced them, and it's hard for them to break away from the little voicings and nuances that they pick up from their favorite artists and stuff. And you see a lot of people just emulating their favorite artists, and they never really bubble up to find, you know, their inner, you know, you see them like becoming great imitators of great stuff that's out there, but it's like, yeah, but what do you sound like? You know, you sound like this person, that person, you know, like there is no denying what Prince sounds like. You know, you don't confuse Prince with nobody else. You know what I'm saying? And there's a whole bunch of artists. A lot of those people you named there earlier, Holley, you know, there's no confusing none of those artists. You know, they all have established themselves, and it's up to the observer. It becomes objective if you think they're good and all this kind of shit.
And that also goes back to soul, too.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like, I think about Bob Marley. Well, Ziggy and some of his children sound just like him, but they still don't sound like Bob. Why is that? Because they don't have Bob's soul.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, it's funny because, like, with all the classical music, right? You know, people like Mozart and Beethoven and them, they died before anybody that's alive on this planet and shit, you know, was around. And, you know, they left their body of work, and there's a lot of great people that study their work and they play their music. But, you know, at the end of the day, we will never know what Mozart or Beethoven sound like on the piano.
No telling.
No matter how great a motherfucker can imitate their work and stuff. Like, you know, I'm a big fan of Glenn Gould, who's deceased now. He was a badass pianist from back in the day, and he was pretty much the premier guy to go to for Bach work. He played a lot of Bach, and I mean, he pretty much is what all the scholars imagine what Bach or people that played his work probably sounded like playing his work. But at the end of the day, we still don't know what Bach would have sounded like. I mean, for all intents and purposes, not to, you know, offend anybody out there, but hell, maybe Bach sucked on the piano, and he had to get other motherfuckers to play his shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, I wrote this badass piece the other day, but I just can't get that fingering and shit. I'd be writing some complicated shit.
Yeah.
But can you imagine how they must have played it? Like, think about Mozart. Like I was talking about, like, just like you said, other people have tried to emulate it, but nobody will ever play like that person, like Bob. People have played reggae, but nobody sounds like Bob Marley because they don't have his soul. Imagine what Mozart's soul sounded like.
Yeah.
Just thinking about the way his music was, think about his soul.
Yeah.
And you know what? Now let's go to a comical end. You know that Mozart wrote a fucking song about farting?
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. He
That's
wrote a song
hilarious.
about farting, man. But see, you know when I found that out, what I liked about that is Mozart was the type of person that if he was alive in this day and time, he would kick it with people like us.
He would
Like
have
this,
fun.
you know what I'm saying? This motherfucker would be probably smoking weed and shit and all this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like a guy with his talent takes the time out to not take himself so serious and shit and writes a song about farting.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't never wrote no goddamn song about farting, and
No.
I got a crazy sense of humor, but I ain't never did that shit. But what that lets me know is the guy, you know, he was a complete human. You know what I'm saying? And he was a real person and shit, and that music that came out of him. But getting back on point, to get it back to Holley and stuff, you know, that was the thing that intrigued me about you, Holley, because like, you know, and I think you peep game and shit as far as, you know, around here in Oxford and just in general throughout the whole state for that matter, because you and I both have played, you know, other places throughout Mississippi. And, you know, being and please excuse me for saying it like this, you know, I'm not trying to box you in, you know, I look at you as a fellow artist, but for the sake of this conversation, as a quote unquote female artist, a female Mississippian artist, do you find it more or less challenging, or do you find it challenging at all to be a female musician in Mississippi?
I have not found that to be a challenge. As a matter of fact, if there was a challenge to it, I thrived off of it.
Woo! Talk to me.
Yeah, that's deep right there.
Yeah, that's the answer to that.
That's what's up. Well, look, I kind of been talking a lot. I'm gonna let Scoob kind of talk to you a little bit there.
I seen you post on Facebook today about your dad's amp. I wanted to talk to you about that you were playing.
Yeah, it's an old vintage Music Man amp. As a matter of fact, my dad left me several of his musical instruments. He left me his Hammond XK3 organ and his Leslie cabinet. And as badly as I wish I could have played the organ and fired up that Leslie cabinet, it just wasn't me. And I couldn't lug around a Leslie, you know?
Yeah.
So, I traded at Amra Music. I traded my dad's organ and his Leslie cabinet for my keyboard. And so I play my keyboard with his old amp.
Oh, that's pretty cool right there. What's your favorite song to play on it?
What's my favorite song to play? Oh, gosh.
Loaded question.
It changes a lot. But
I feel that.
I don't know. I hate to say this because it's going to sound generic, but it's the first cover song that I learned that I was proud of and that people enjoy that I play. So I'd have to say Tall Boy by Widespread Panic.
Okay. I don't think I've heard that.
I'm actually a friend of JoJo Herman's.
Nice.
Word. Well, I know him. I shouldn't say friend because this is going to be out there. And then JoJo is like, man, I know that dude, but we ain't friends. What the fuck?
No, I mean, I enjoy playing. I enjoy playing in general, but I think that people enjoy when I play that song. I like playing Stuck in the Middle by Steelers Wheel. I don't know. It changes. I don't really have a favorite song to play. My favorite song to play right now is the next one I'm going to write.
Yeah.
Hey. And you know, it's so funny, man, as artists, and you know, I find this as a commonality amongst, like, when we're like being real with each other, like we're talking now. You ever, like, you know, sometimes when you get to really talking real, you start finding out that a lot of us like corny shit. Like, you know, we won't admit it, like, in certain settings, we won't admit it. But, like, for example, like, I won't say this is corny, but, like, you know, people know me to play, like, heavy jazz stuff and everything. But, like, you know, I played, like, you know, I started off with, like, Somewhere Over the Rainbow the other day on this live stream I did. And that's not a corny song, mind you. At least I don't think it's corny, but it's kind of tongue in cheek.
Songs like
you know what I'm saying? Yes, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. But I mean, whatever, goddammit. It's just like, I'm one of those kind of, like, there's a song from the 80s, you know, we can dance if you want to. Man, you know, and I be telling that to my homies and shit. I'd be surprising the fuck out of them. They'd be like, but you all in the hip hop and jazz. I'm like, goddamn it, but hey, we can dance if we can dance. Goddamn it, I don't give a damn. Hey, whatever inspires you.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not many genres that I don't like. I listen to it all, really. But
when you listen to death metal?
If it were the right time, absolutely. Like if I was
on
a good hard run.
Yeah, right.
Hey, so what you saying is you don't mind doing a little don't mind doing a little mosh pitting? Oh, there she go. There she goes. She ready. She ready, goddamn it.
Hey.
Hey, yo, so Chef Mac, you got anything that's, you want to throw in on here?
Not about this. I do got a couple things I want to talk about in this podcast, considering when it's coming out.
All right, well, look, go ahead and bring it up.
Yep. Well, we are in the middle of a stay-at-home protocol right now. How is that affecting each of y'all as like people?
Holley, go ahead. You start it off.
Honestly, I'm a homebody, so it's not really affecting me. There you go.
There's my answer too.
It's affecting me because I don't like when people tell me what to do. You know what I'm saying? So just that they stay at home, it's just I want to go out now. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
But school, man. I mean, it's like this. You got to consider it like this, right? It's not so much like martial law as it is. Hell, you really could literally go out and touch some shit and get it.
Yeah, no cap.
You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker said some shit to me today talking about, people using the gas pumps and using ATM machines and shit like that. People doing that shit naked handed.
Yeah,
that shit fucking, whatever the fuck, gestates or whatever the fuck, it incubates in these areas for long periods of time.
And I'm down in Delta where it's swampy and it stays warm and
Yeah,
so
man.
Not to put light on the situation, just in the fact of it's things that I missed about being able to just have somewhat of a
interaction.
Yeah, interaction with people. Like most of the time in my house, there's at least 5-10 people over here. Now there's it's like a ghost town, and it's just kind of weird,
Hey, but do you think that perhaps this is going to create a new gateway for maybe communicating in this fashion with people that are a little bit afar from us or that we don't call us regularly? And now, because I've been getting calls from people that I ain't heard from in a minute and shit checking in, and I've called people too, and it's been a minute. And had this not played out, maybe this whole entire year would have fucking went out and rolled out, and maybe I wouldn't have never talked to him.
Right.
I thought about having with the it wasn't on Skype. It was an app called Google Meet, which any of these platforms you could do it on, but having music sessions through that, you know what I'm saying? As long as everybody has their own equipment and whatnot. If you got a writer, you know what I'm saying, he's over there writing, you got someone over there playing keys and melodies, it's let me send that over that way, and but being able to communicate like that is almost like you're in the room,
Right.
People I know from North Carolina that I've never really messed with musically because we're not in the room, but I don't know. Also the fact that people aren't moving around, people are more likely to have communication, because most of the time you're dealing with people so much where it's oh, I don't want to go home and get on the phone with somebody.
The last thing you want to do, yeah.
Right.
Right. So I think that if we anybody out there that's listening to that and they're kind of scared about it, just think about look at it in a positive way, paint your room, you know what I'm saying? Do things that you wanted to do,
And this is the perfect time to learn how to cook. That's a big teach yourself.
Of course, Chef Mac would definitely throw that out there.
Self-care, because honestly, these days we live in such a fast-paced world that none of us ever stop long enough to rest. We might take a nap and stuff, but we don't ever just rest. We're always, if we're laying down, we're on our phone, something,
Right,
so
right.
It's a good
constantly
time to,
keeping our minds and stuff working.
Yeah, it's a good time to what is it? Unplug.
Yeah.
Unplug, and then I know for somebody like me, this will probably finally make my ass finally not be all streaky about my exercising, man. I need to start exercising.
Yeah, me too, bro. For real.
I had posted a video up. I had just woke up in the morning and shit. I think I just got through talking to you, Scoob. Then I posted a video of me getting myself together and shit.
Yeah.
Silas and shit got on my thread. He's like, we got to get Bill some steroids up in this
Yeah, I see that shit, bro.
Just call me Skinny Hawk up in this bitch, man. But no, man, it's just but I am letting myself thin away, man. And maybe I could, goddamn it, start, working out. I come out of this quarantine and shit, goddamn it, with some muscles and shit. Have somebody like Holley going goddamn, look at Bill, goddamn, look at the Bill.
For real.
But also I think that it's gonna start making us get creative. Look at the shit we're doing right now.
Right.
We wouldn't have never did a podcast like this if we wasn't forced into this.
Nah, definitely not. I would have probably looked at it that's it wouldn't be the same. But after doing it, it was like, you know, I wouldn't say this would have been any different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because
Like,
it's pre-recorded. You know,
Yeah,
it's a pre-recorded
And
thing.
you know what? Artificial intelligence. Look at us. We're just we're not in person. We're all
Right.
They've already taken over, Holly.
Yeah, we are
taking
AI.
over.
Yeah, we're just holograms right now. Same shit.
All right,
Yeah.
look, Hunter, man, is there anything else you want to throw at us?
I do want to throw out a couple of little like kind of interesting things about like how the Earth as a whole is taking this quarantine. The canals in Venice are now clear water. You know,
Wow.
China's not pollution has like been cut in half. You know, like it's
Wow.
crazy how helpful and crazy it's been for all this. And like I just traveled back home to Mississippi, and like driving through Atlanta in rush hour, there was 2 cars.
Wow.
Wow, that's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, man, you know, we are really living in some kind of dystopian novel right now, man. You know, fucking clear streets, like we've always seen the movies, right? Where, you know, it's some bleak future, you know,
Yeah.
either some zombie infestation or some virus is killing us off, or artificial intelligence is taking over or whatever. But we're literally, I mean, dude, think about this, right? Of all the plagues that have ever plagued us, it has never been this insidious. Like, all of us look the way we look right now, and we can have this shit. It ain't like AIDS or some shit. Like, eventually you start looking all decrepit and get lesions, or like when you have cancer and the physical, you know,
Right.
shit starts, you know, it starts revealing that you're sick. But this shit right here, man, all of us right now could be sick as a motherfucker and shit and don't even know it. You know?
All right, let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think that inevitably pretty much everybody's going to end up having contracted it before it's over with?
I do.
Yeah,
I think in some form or fashion, yes. I think that's where it's going to. I'm going to tell y'all like this, and I ain't trying to like, you know, put myself out there, but you know, I'm wondering about myself.
Yeah, man.
Because well, let's say this. The last time I was in close proximity to a group beyond 10 was that Roosters gig, Scoob, that I did that's about like 2 weeks ago now. But since that time, I've only been in the company of no more than, what, Scoob? Because me and you've been in the same company, about 4 or 5 people.
Yeah, at the most.
And that was when we did that live stream. That's the biggest crowd of people I've been in, and we pretty much was practicing social distancing amongst each other that night.
Yeah, facts. Everyone's aware of it, you know, and washing their hands and stuff like that. I mean, like, it's almost like anything, you know, it's gonna make us better. You know, it either makes us worse or it makes us better. And
it's definitely gonna make everybody cautious of their hygiene.
Yeah, and that's important, you know. It's very important.
It's surprising that motherfuckers are just now learning how to damn wash their hands.
Yeah, facts.
You know, like, I really wash their hands. Not like, you know, just put your goddamn hand in the sink.
But like, you know, now
really
it's like,
fucking washing your hands. Like, I got serious. I'm not a germaphobe, but man, I keep my crib pretty tidy. You know this, Scoob. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't let my shit build up. Like, I have been in certain homeboys of mine houses, and I'm like, man, how the hell you even consider taking a shit in that toilet? Like, motherfucking shit grimy. Then the fucking tub looked like, goddamn it, Bigfoot took a goddamn shower in that motherfucker. And I'm just like, you know, what the fuck? How you living, bruh? You know, so motherfuckers like that in this world that's going out here shaking your motherfucking hand after they done scratched their ass or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this type of shit is going to make people mindful of that kind of stuff for once.
Yeah. What else, Hunter, though? Should rapid fire, or you got a couple more things?
That we're at the, all right, so I'm going to do it a little differently, and I'm going to throw out questions that I want all of y'all to answer.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll let Holley start it off, then Scoob, and I'll answer last and all this, you know, the whole sequence.
All right. We're still going to do like a minute a person.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Where do y'all find y'all's meaning in life? It's very deep at the moment, but that was the first question that popped up.
For me, that's a really easy answer. My daughter, Charlie, gives me most of my meaning in life. Next to my daughter, it's the rest of my family. Of course, my Lord and Savior. And, of course, my music and art. That's where I find my meaning in life, is my daughter, my family, my God, and my music and my art.
Nice.
Yeah, I say just like life itself. Like it be the little things that like, I don't know, find meaning in. I don't think that like. I think meaning is everything in life. So that's just like such a hard question to answer because it's like I couldn't box it into one thing. At sushi, bro, that was like meaning, bro. That was nutrients in my body. But like what that led to, what I'm saying, all of it. I don't know. I don't think I
You
could
pay
define
attention to the
meaning.
little things.
Yeah, I love the little things.
It's
Well,
probably
I
like
mean, for
rule
me
number 32.
personally, as I get, as I get older, that meaning has changed, over the years for me. Actually, both of the things you guys have said, I agree with that. And then also, what I'm starting to find is engaging people is where I find meaning in life. Honestly, it's like it's more outwardly in terms of like, every time I connect to somebody, I'm able to absorb or assimilate that encounter and therefore gain something from that. Like I gained something from, knowing you two. You know what I'm saying? And knowing Hunter too. You know what I'm saying? Like, every time I encounter y'all, whatever we talk about, I walk away with that extra little something that brings meaning to life for me.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. All right. What's the next one?
All right, something not as deep. Would you rather live in a sailboat for the rest of your life or an RV?
A sailboat or an RV?
Yep.
Easy. RV all day long.
Sailboat.
Yeah, I'm sailboat too.
I'm with Holley, man. RV, man. I can't do the damn water shit. I get seasick.
Because I can travel in my RV to somewhere and rent a damn sailboat.
Ooh, talk to him.
Yeah. I just like the water. I like that.
Me too.
It's calm for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't like being in the water. I'd rather be in the water. I hate being wet though. Like I love water and being in the water, but I hate being wet. Like
that's like I like tomatoes, but I don't like ketchup.
Yeah.
All right. What's the craziest dream y'all have had?
Oh God. Okay. I've had some weird ass dreams now, but let me think. As a matter of fact, this might be a little bit longer than 1 minute, but a couple years ago when I was probably like early 20s, I actually went to a psychiatrist about having nightmares all the time. And I got hypnotized one time. She wanted to do an age regression to see when the first time was that I ever felt fear. So she hypnotized me and like asked me all these weird questions. And so I guess I'll tell y'all about that experience because I remember being hypnotized. Like I remember what I dreamed about. And it was the weirdest thing. As it started out, like after she counted down, I remember walking into this garden and I remember seeing myself as a little girl and my mother. And then I remember being in some bedroom and I saw these garden gnomes outside of my bedroom window. And I remember as a child having a nightmare about these garden gnomes outside of my bedroom window. And it was wild. Just that hypnosis could like take me back to something that I had lost in my memory from when I was like 5.
That's crazy.
I don't know. So there's my story.
Damn. I want to get hypnotized after you said that. I'm kind of serious. I had a dream that happened the other day. I have a lot of dreams about like very bad tragedy, like big tsunamis and things like that.
You worry then. You worry a lot.
Yeah, I do worry a whole shit ton. That's crazy.
You dream about what you think about.
So
if you're thinking about disastrous, crazy shit all the time, you're gonna have crazy, disastrous dreams.
That's
right. How they fuck around and pick your goddamn brain apart,
boy. Because I couldn't deny it when she said it. That's crazy. But I had a dream the other night, and I was on LSD in space, and it was the weirdest thing in the world. Like, because I've never like dreamt about like smoking weed or drinking anything like that. But I was definitely like, what I'm saying, that was a clear thought in my head. I woke up just like wanting to go back into that dream. And like I never been able to do this, but I woke up, I went and like smoked a cigarette and came back and went back into the same dream, and it was the first time I ever had done that. That was probably
the craziest thing ever. Well, you actually took it to a place where I was going to talk about one of my weird ones, which is kind of an obvious one considering the shit that I always load my brain with, but mine was a space dream. But my shit was me fucking leaving out the planet. Like I was floating up, floated outside of Earth, right? Kept floated past all the fucking planets, floated outside of our galaxy. There was some unknown. Mind you, while this shit is going on, I was just as terrified as you would imagine someone would be in a situation like that if you could actually, survive in space. I was fucking scared, man.
Yeah.
This big ass space nut over here, but it was like it was really happening because it was my dream. That was the reality I was in. And just like yourself, Scoob, but with the exception of it wasn't the same day. I had, I guess, what they call a reoccurring dream. I fucking picked up where I left off the next night. This shit happened for 3 nights, and I had, told my ex-wife at the time about it and shit. And it's the only time in my life I had the same dream over and over for like 3 nights. And it was my ass floating out into space. And I'm sure Holley probably would pick my goddamn brain with that and be like, motherfucker, you worry too much too.
No, you just don't want to stay in the now. You like daydreaming.
Oh, goddamn, Holley, how the fuck you picking our brains like this?
I've read a lot about dreams.
Hey, well, if you dig that kind of reading, check out The Interpretation of Dreams by Sigmund Freud.
Yeah.
He apparently he wrote that shit while he was on cocaine.
One of my favorite lines I ever wrote in a song, I wrote a song about this really bad acid trip I had, and there's a line in the song that says, all the psychedelic tripping had me slipping like Freud.
Woo!
That's crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
For real.
That's
man, Teddy said
right, y'all. Holley also spits hot fire, y'all. That's right.
Oh, God. That's crazy.
All right, what else you got for us there, Chef Mac?
All right. If you had to be killed by a horror movie serial killer, who would it be?
Oh, let me answer that real quick first. I can tell you.
Oh.
Yeah. What serial killer would you want to be killed by? Are you
Movie.
saying movie serial killer or real?
Both.
All right, well go ahead, Holley.
Jeez Louise.
I know, right? Who do you want to be your murderer?
I don't know, because I'm like a scaredy cat at heart. So I'm trying to think of like some of the scary movies. Like, I don't know. I try not to think about murderers. I don't know.
Like, would you want Michael Myers to murder you?
No, because I wouldn't want to be murdered. Maybe the guy on Saw, because at least it would be an interesting story.
Yo, that's mine too. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Y'all want to go out fucking painful as fuck then.
I know it would be painful as fuck, but at least it would be a crazy story, and it wouldn't just be like, oh, I'm axed out.
Nah, fuck that. Give me Jason Voorhees. Cut my goddamn head off. Do not put me in some device that I'm being tortured and shit. And I'm looking at my goddamn arm and shit being twisted. My goddamn dick being shoved in my ass with some device, making me fuck myself. And fuck that shit. But anyway.
Hell yeah.
And as far as real people, man, to kind of, I guess, because you said fiction and real, goddamn.
Maybe Charles Manson, because then I'd be on a lot of LSD.
True that.
And Charles Manson actually wouldn't kill you. He'd send his women to get you.
Oh,
That's
shit.
what I'm saying, but at least I'd be on LSD.
Yeah.
You would actually probably be one of the killers, Holley.
I'd be in the family.
I tell you what, I guess I'd have to go out by the Zodiac killer, man. Just shoot me in the fucking head. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody never found that son of a bitch. So, hey, yeah, let the motherfucker
that was a good movie.
Hell yeah.
Man, Jack the Ripper, just so you can see who he is.
Ooh, good one, Chef Mac. Be like, oh, that's who you are. Then get your throat sliced.
All right. For the final episode, or for the final question of the podcast, where is it? I just saw it. Where did it go? Well, okay. Oh, there it is. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Didn't we ask that one already?
No, you asked that one before.
Damn.
Yeah, you asked me that because you remember that was the fucking food paradox I said you put me in. Or no, that was the fries thing rather. But no, you did ask that one before. And I think Scooby said that it was a sandwich.
Okay.
It's definitely a sandwich, yo, for real.
Well, hell, why you put it out there? Hell, we can't just ask Holley. What do you think, Holley? Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Is a hot dog a sandwich? No, hell no, it's a hot dog.
Yeah, dear. God bless America.
All right.
All right, what else you got? Is that the last one, Chef Mac?
This will be the last one. What's the most ridiculous fact that you know?
The most ridiculous fact that I know?
Yep.
That the male seahorse carries the babies.
Oh, shit. I think I may have heard that, but like I didn't know if it was real or not. That's some real shit, huh?
That's some real shit.
Damn. Well, what about you, Scoop?
Man, bro, I don't be knowing a lot of just like interesting facts. That should be crazy. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I know an interesting fact.
Oh, well,
Hold on,
I mean,
I gotta text my daughter back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
shit,
go ahead,
man.
Bill. Let me think for a second.
Oh, okay. I mean, this ain't the most interesting fact. I was just gonna spit some shit that I know to kind of give you, something. But I was gonna say something like, you can't. What is it? You can't sneeze with your eyes open or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
they'll shoot out of your head.
Yeah, like some weird. I mean, I wouldn't say that's
like
the weirdest thing that I know, though.
Hour.
Because I actually know some weird
like
shit.
70 miles an hour.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
I know some weird shit, but, some of the stuff I know, I may not want to talk about it on this podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all ready for this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That if
this
you
has
take...
to be the last one because my daughter's blowing me up.
Oh, no.
All
This is my random fact.
Oh,
Did you know that if you took all the humans and stacked them to the moon, a good percent of the population would die?
Yeah.
You a fool, Chef Mac.
Yeah.
Well, look, so we gonna go ahead and close it now, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, look, y'all. Thank y'all
thank y'all for having me so much. I enjoyed this so much.
Oh, thank you, Holley. You've been wonderful, baby. Indeed, this has been a great one, and glad for all of you watching this unique version of Bridging the Gap with Bill Perry, ScoobyDaKid, Chef Mac, and special guest Holley Peel, and this is a new platform for us, but we may be presenting a few of them if this thing goes well. We may present the next couple of ones this way while we're all in quarantine for the time being. And Scoob, you want to go ahead and wrap it up with the social media stuff?
Yeah, get at us on all social media at Bridging the Gap with Bill and ScoobyDaKid 252, and at Bill Perry, and at Holley Peel.
That's right.
It's at Bridge the Gap 77.
Oh, at Bridge the Gap 77.
And follow us on all platforms. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Look for us.
Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so you get notified when we post.
Yeah.
Bridging the Gap for life.
That's right, baby. And you definitely want to subscribe to the YouTube page because this is where you get the visuals. We definitely have, it's a podcast, so there's audio. But if you want to get the visuals on and everything and see what's going on, come to the YouTube page and subscribe to our page.
All right.
Thank y'all for having me.
Indeed. It's been lovely. And I'll talk to y'all soon, man. Y'all have a good one. And all y'all out there, have a good one. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Sanitize.
All right. Well, love y'all.